What's up, y'all? It's John at Release Grain coming at you with the real quick experimental run of the techniques I've been working with. You see, I'm not real good at sketching when I change my mind on the canvas and fuck everything up, but we'll have some fun with this. I'm gonna see what I can do. This is kind of got a little twist that I'm gonna throw at y'all at the end. My philosophy or outlook on what I'm doing here. But I've got some ideas for the color palette I'm going to use, as well as some of the melding and techniques I'm going to try. So let's sit down and have some fun. Again, this is, as always, unicorn spit. Awesome shit. Little bitty tiny weeny bottles with little bitty metal tips, which I highly recommend getting a sewing needle. Just a little one, because these fuckers clog. So you just pop that in there and clean it up. Anyways, these are a 50-50 water to paint mix. Then I just take a standard water bottle and I squirt the shit out of it and see if I can make a mess. Anyways, I'll bring y'all along for the ride, and hopefully I have something worth even showing in the end. But you know what? This is art. I love to create. I love to have fun. I seldom have a solid plan. And I don't have my white and black over here. But I generally tend to come up with fairly cool shit in the end. I mean, it's never perfect, but hell, I don't want it to be perfect. This is art. And there are places for well-rounded, artistic individuals that can do figure drawing and painting and all that kind of stuff. But for me, I can't. So what I do abstract. I do craziness. I have fun with it and see where it goes. So let's have some fun and see if I can make something worth making. Don't slide on me. Why are you sliding? Nope. Okay, we're gonna do something here. Sorry, people. That's just sliding too much. Don't matter if the bottom gets a little fucked up. I want to be able to work. Come on, come out. So I try to add a lot of philosophy, a lot of my own motherfucking opinions, which, what do they all say? Opinions are like assholes. All of us fucking have them. Most of them fucking stink. I don't know if I've ever heard it that way, but fuck it, I can do whatever I want when I'm talking my own shit. But I hope y'all enjoy my videos. I don't have a lot of views. I don't have people really staying for too long and checking my shit out, but I'm trying to put out some cool shit and see what I can do. Have some fun. Make some art. I'll do some building projects. Come on, my hands are shaky as fuck today because I'm tired, worked late, got up early. And my hands are shaky in general. But this is just an outline to hold in our colors. God, I'm shaky today. Come on, John. You can do better than that. Should have just freehanded this. It would have been so much easier. All right, so we've got a start. Now, what I'm gonna do is, should have started with the blue base, John. Put blue on top. Would have worked a little better, but we're gonna start with this. I'm gonna add some water. Yes, that black is gonna mix, but we're gonna put color over it. Now that black and also the white I'll be using are a solid 100% white, black, acrylic, unwatered down, I should say. Sorry, they're 100% paint. They are not watered down. But the way I work, I need my colors to be fairly easy to flow. move around. And we're almost done filling this in. Put some more up there. Now I'm going to add a lot more to this later. This is just our base coat. I've got to start editing these videos together to make it a little easier, but I'm going to try and do this all in one if I can. Actually, I'm going to incorporate one more of my techniques that I use a lot of the time in my work. So if you give me 2 seconds, this is a long format video, so if you're watching it at this point, you're probably going to stick around for a minute. So let me finish filling in this blue. Yeah, like I said, I should have done a blue base, so this would have been easy to cover, or easier to cover. Okay, now we'll use the brush, which I almost never use, but we need to get rid of these bubbles. I didn't mean to make those bubbles. And this is also another easy way to fill in the spots. But I wanted a lot of blue on here. I want it thick, I want it beautiful. And I want to play with it some more. But first things first. Actually, tip of this might work. I don't ever use the tip, but hey, the tip does work pretty good. I guess that's why painters use it, ain't it? The tip works, people. Holy shit. I would have never thought it. Wow. I guess Picasso knew what the fuck he was doing, didn't he? Alright, just 1 second. I'm going to step away from the little camera for a minute. Wish I knew where the fuck my extension cord was. Just don't know where anything is. I don't have it anymore. I have one. Perfect. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Alright, so now this, unfortunately, is going to be a little noisy. And I apologize, but it's the only way I know of to do this without making a huge fucking mess. So, and it also helps you go much, much quicker, lay down much more at once, maneuver things much, much more. So let's see if I can do this without knocking everything down. What I'm going to try and do is just lock in these colors a little bit. I haven't added much water. And I did want that black to mold in there. That's why we put them down so close together. So, like I say, I try to throw a lot of philosophy in my shit. I've been through a lot in my life, and someday maybe I'll talk about more of it. I've told y'all I've lost my shop, I lost my house. It was a rental, but it was still my home. I lived there for quite a while. All the time I had been in Medford, I lived there. And I had a nice big shop and a lot of shit and all the material possessions and a great life and everything was going good. And then as life seems to do, it kicks you in the fucking ass. And I hurt my back and a lot of other things happened all within a short period of time. And it caused me to go through and work out some of my issues, which is really, really cool. I went through a year and a half-ish of breakdown and putting myself together again, and a month in the middle of that where I was extremely fucked up. But I survived and came out a bigger, better, stronger, healthier, more emotionally free and peaceful person than I ever dreamed I could be. And I spent a lifetime trying to learn different types of philosophies and beliefs and religions and everything, looking for peace and tranquility in my life. And it never gave me shit other than more questions, more doubts, more suspicions, and more wondering. Why the fuck is it this way? Why the hell, if there is religion, why the hell does a God allow this shit to happen? Now, I've spent years studying religion, so I know why supposedly all this shit happened if you're religious. I've spent years studying philosophy and psychology and all that, and I really enjoy it, and I've learned a lot, and it's taught me throughout my life many, many lessons. And I've learned from that and grown. But thankfully, over the last year, the changes I experienced in my life really made a huge difference and really made things great. So I'll slowly try and share some of that stuff, whether y'all want to take it, whether it helps. This is just always going to be my experience, not something to put in stone. Now what we're going to do when I unclog this, oh shit, with a glove on. When I unclog this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some white under the blue. And when I add colors later, even though I'm not going to add a lot of color to this part, it's mainly going to be the rest of it. When I add those colors, these will pop out when the water is laid on, or the white will pop out, as well as some of the other colors I'm going to add to this blue. I'm really sorry. I am having a hard time putting this needle in there. There we go. So now, just going to put some white in certain spots. Okay, so kind of fill you in a little bit on my aim here. Hope it makes sense, and I hope it don't sound stupid, but what I'm going for is the flow of the river of life. How things change, how things are different when you least expect it, how things flow better sometimes. Sometimes you have little areas like up in here. You know, this is, in my opinion, your younger years. You're open in a big bay. Everything's flowing forward. Everything's looking big and beautiful, which is the dream of everybody. But unfortunately, life sometimes throws bullshit in your way. And you get to different areas in your life and you have to figure out how to navigate those waters and how to survive. So this is meant to show the flow from semi-normal, happy, peaceful existence, low amount of stress, childhood, worrying more about your cartoons and your peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the end of the day than whether or not the bills are getting paid. And then as you get a little older, you come into a bottleneck where everything's fucking changing. You're growing, you're going through life. There's going to be a lot of rockiness, a lot of rapids, a lot of craziness. And then as you flow through that, you start to get stronger and stronger, and the world seems to open up to you. And then my little thought philosophy was here that you've got kind of two paths you can take at that point as you're growing and changing in life. You can take the murky little bay or cove that keeps you in the same state of mind and the same way forever. Things never change while you're in that cove. You go through life, whether happy or sad, all in a small, tiny little area with no outlook on life and the surrounding world. So that's one way. Or you can come in the other way, which is still a very wide path into life, college, starting a job, whatever you might do. Then life is going to get a little harder as you age and as things go on. You're going to go through some more rapids. You're going to hit some twists, some turns, some bottlenecks, you know. You're going to have areas like over in here where things are pretty good, you know. It's not as bad. You've got a little bit over in the murky area, but wham, you go into another fucking bottleneck. And as you come down, you know, things are getting better. It's widening out. Maybe you're learning a little bit. Maybe you're growing a little bit. You know, things are much better. You're able to handle hardships better. And then let's do this. Fucking wall hits. You know, you come up on a wall you don't know how to fucking deal with, you know. It's hard. Life fucking kills you when you're least expecting it. And you can hit that wall and you can give up. You can stop. You can go backwards. Everything can change instantly in a split second. You know, one day it's all gravy. My life's going fucking great. Things are a little rocky. My mom had just gone into a place for rehab for a couple of weeks for her health problems and physical problems. And one day rolls around, you know, and boom, there's a call from the police saying she had contacted the police station that the home was trying to kill her, blah, blah, blah. I got to come down. So my boss says, you can go, but you got to get right the fuck back. So I go down and I make that choice. I try to calm her down, get everything okay. She tells me she's not going to do anything. She's okay. But still, I had to leave my mother. So I hit this fucking wall. Well, I went back to work. I finished out the night so that they didn't have to close early. And I went home. I had 2 days off. Wake up in the middle of the night, 2 days later. Bam. Fucking herniated disc. My back finally gave out from an earlier injury a couple weeks prior. 3 herniated discs, crushed nerve cluster, crushed spinal cord, barely able to walk with the fucking cane in the walls to the bathroom for a couple of weeks, on a cane for a month and a half, limp for another 7, barely could walk, but you know what? I kept pushing. I climbed over that motherfucking wall, and even though things were rocky for a while, I got through them. You know, I overcame that injury. I kept pushing. I kept working in the shop. I kept trying to put my life back together. I had lost my job. I had lost my career. I was paying bills with money I didn't have, conniving, working every scheme I could think of, always making the wrong choices, hiring the wrong lawyers, paying the wrong fees, putting in the wrong paperwork. So shit was still fucking rocky. But I got over that wall, so everything was great. Then we come into now. Everything's beautiful. The water's just flowing. Everything's great. I'm going through a great part of my life, you know, which seems to happen every year and a half or so. I go through a good phase and then everything kind of gets fucked. But we go into a more open road. Once you're stronger and you've overcome enough, you realize that you are a superhero. You are the hero of your life, and you can go through and make changes and do whatever you want. All you got to do is make that choice to take those first steps and see where things lead. So now we've got our river laid out. We've got our rapids, we've got our bottlenecks, we've got our walls, we've got our beautiful, nice little bays and areas. We've got our murky areas where we can spend our lives just hating things and never growing. Now let's fill out the rest of the world and make it as beautiful as it truly is. Because every time we take a fucking breath, every morning we wake up is fucking gorgeous. And if you start to realize that not everyone is out to get you, not every person that looks at you funny hates you, those people are just having a bad fucking day too. Look at how stressful your life. Imagine if you were going through what they were. Imagine if they were going through what you were. How would they act? You know, the asshole at work that tells you off because you're going too slow. Well, you know what? He might have just divorced his wife. He might have just been in an accident and lost everything. That anger is seldom directed towards the person it is being aimed at. But we tend to always look at life as everyone is out to get us, everyone hates us, the whole world hates us just because we have hardships. Well, I'm sorry, if it wasn't for those fucking hardships, we would never survive. We would never flourish, prosper, grow, get character, strength. We would just be stagnant over here in the murky water. Nobody fucking wants that. We want the big open waterways, we want the flow, we want the happiness. But unfortunately, to get to the happiness, sometimes you got to go through that murky fucking water. You got to overcome that little bay. You got to work your way out of there into a wider road that's going to be hard all along and going to have areas that are fucking impossible to get through. But if you keep pushing, I swear to God, you can make a new life for yourself. You can be a new person. I went from a 3-bedroom house in a beautiful neighborhood with a huge 2-car garage, every tool I ever fucking dreamed of, all the furniture I ever wanted. Granted, I was in a little silver Kia that could, but I love the fucking car. It's a great, comfortable, little, good running car, which blew up right after I hurt my back, but that's another story. Anyways, my point is, I had all that shit. I decided that it's not what I wanted in life, not what I needed, and it was time to make some changes. So I decided to, as I have in my life before, I decided to downsize, to start over, to move into an area where I had the money to support myself and my little dog and not be overwhelmed all the time from hundreds and hundreds of dollars in bills and thousands of dollars in rent and everything, which just eats at your soul. So I decided to give something else a try, stop banging my head against the same fucking wall, hoping for a different result. So I got a little apartment. It's ghetto as fuck. I didn't like it for a long time. Went through a lot of hardships after I got here when my mom died. But then things started looking up. I got a new job at a theater, which I had been looking for a job for a while that was easy on the body, but kept me moving so that I could keep rebuilding my back and strengthening my legs and getting over my nerve damage, which over the last year I have. I've come a long way. Oh shit. You're kidding me. Fucking kidding me. I've come a long way and accomplished more than I ever friggin' dreamed, and overcome more than I ever friggin' dreamed, and become a better person. So I work at the theater a few days a week. I have fun, hang out with some great people, get free movies, free concessions, all that fun jazz. I gotta kind of watch this so I don't spill it on my fucking carpet being in an apartment. So back to the apartment, back to the new job. Mom passed. I was able to overcome that and grow from that and see the world in a different way. I gotta put some water in this, but I have some right here, so that might work. Been doing great in work, and then I've been wanting to get back in a place where I have a garage. So I figured out a few weeks ago, hey, what the fuck? I'm a builder and an artist. I've got a small place. It's summertime. I can borrow a few tools, which I got some tools dropped off today, which I'll post in a video later. I borrowed from a buddy, so I'll be able to use those. Oh shit, shake it, John, shake it, you dumbass. We're adding water to it anyways. But anyways, so I decided, you know what, why not build some shit? Why not see if I can make some money on the side? Why not see if, oh fuck, why are you closed? Yeah, that's okay. There should be some craziness in the rapids too, even though that is a little bit better place. But I'm gonna mix these colors in. Sorry, I just kind of fucked the whole thing up, but it's a part of my life. Raise your glass high and make a toast. It's gonna be all right. Probably shouldn't be singing the song in the background and ruining their fucking music, but it's an awesome fucking song, and it's good to realize that that's just how it goes, and it's a part of your life. All right, so now we want to add in something different. So I'm gonna add in, do I want some more? Yeah, no. We're gonna mix it up a little bit and add in some metallics, just to get this world beautiful and pretty, sparkling. So I'm separating these colors out more now because I want them to spread a little bit. And I'll go in and fill all of this shit in later, the little spots. That's why I left this canvas white rather than painting it blue, which it still, well, no, this turned out perfect. The colors fucking melded just like I wanted. Everything's going perfect so far, so let's see how much I can fuck it up. But hey, it's a part of my life. Sometimes you do good things, sometimes you do dumb things. Today to make tomorrow, all right. Okay, a little more green up here. I want to see that shit. And a little more right there. See what I mean? I've been working a lot drier recently, but this technique, these paints are watered down, so it tends to do a lot, and sometimes it'll do a lot that I'm not expecting. But that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it trial runs and errors and learning and all that fun jazz. That's all you're gonna find on Release the Grain is fucking fun, experimenting, doing weird shit. Let's throw in some fucking orange, have some fun. These colors are fucking molding like crazy, but my table, and this is indispensable, a fucking oil pan from the AutoZone for 12 bucks. It's perfect. You can burn on one side, do Soshugiban on one side, and add dyes to the wood, or you can do what I do and use it as a catch pan. It's fucking great. Well, that kind of lost its flow, but this is where the flow really matters down here. And now we're going to add in some of this beautiful purple, pinky purple. Maybe. I think that's purple. But we're getting there, people. Our colors are starting to mix. They're doing some weird shit. Our river is staying stable. Now I'm going to manipulate the rapids in a minute and pull those colors up. as well as leave a little bit of it below so that when the blue dries, it'll pop through. Now, not red, blue. So we're gonna add in some blue. I've already got the melding going on I want to up here in this upper area, but the bottom's still having some trouble. But we'll get there. All right, put you guys up there. What's next? Well, this is, I think this one's the red. All right, I'm gonna have to start moving this soon because that molding up top is starting to fucking meld too much and it's muddying. But hey, up here, that's actually really fucking cool. Up in the rapids, things are muddy. Things are crazy even on the shore. You can't climb the fuck out and change things. You gotta keep moving forward and change things, right? Right. That's what I say at least. Fuck it, have fun. So this video is almost done, guys. I am almost ready to wrap it up. Just want to add a little color and then manipulate it. And we'll do some water in a minute and see what the fuck that does. I really shouldn't, but that's how I'm used to working with unicorn spit is water. Come on, work, bottle. Fucker. But the great thing about this technique is it doesn't take any skill. It just takes trying shit. Let's lock this in with some regular purple. And like I say, once this all starts spreading, if it doesn't spread enough, and there's some spots that are showing through, we can add more paint to it, and it'll give us an effect similar to this up here, which I hope you can see. But anyways, we're going to maneuver these paints out of the way, and I know my arm keeps getting in the way, but truthfully, this is the only way I found that I can do art and show you. So you're gonna see this shit's just gonna start going fucking nuts. But I don't want it on the river yet. That's it for now, people. So I'm gonna take my trusty paintbrush, move some of this paint around because I want this area thicker. So I didn't add as much water to the purple, just enough to make it spread and flow, because I want it to fill this area in solid down here. And that's what I don't like is fucking brush strokes. Hopefully they disappear, because I don't know how to paint and I don't know if brush strokes disappear. I've never tried. So let's fill in this area here. And I might add a little more paint depending on how things go, but this paint's gonna mold together in a minute and move when I manipulate the board with the heat gun, because I think I'm gonna use the heat gun on this rather than manipulating like I did with the board yesterday by hand. All right, so that is gonna be good. All right, so there it is. All right, now we're gonna have some fun, but I gotta be real careful because I'm loving what I got going with the river. So I am not gonna move this board. That's where the heat gun comes in. If I had a bigger space, I would hook up a small detail air nozzle to an air hose, and I would use 5 to 10 PSI and play with that, of course, because you want to make sure that it's going to that's actually pretty funny. What the fuck was I just talking about? See, my mouth starts and it never fucking stops. Also, my ass never knows what the fuck it's gonna say until it pops the fuck out. We're repairing right here. I told you, like I said, we could add paint to the spots that we want to. And that should be, I'm gonna do a little blue up there to change that. And bring some through there, some through there. And these are all gonna meld together, and as they dry, they're gonna change a lot. They're gonna grow, they're gonna shrink. Other colors are gonna pop out from underneath. It's gonna do some weird shit. But I tend to fill these holes with contrasting colors, generally. that wasn't really contrasting, and that's going to sink into the green. So let's take a little purple, add that in there, add a little more down here. There's metallic purple now. And I'm going to take and add some more green in here. Like I say, we're almost done here, people. I'm just filling in before I manipulate. Now this one up here is this baby blue. So we're going to add some of that in there. Fix this spot, and we're almost ready, people. I know I keep saying that, son of a bitch. Why do I keep saying we're almost fucking ready, people, when we're sure as fuck not almost ready? We got a whole mess to fix. But that's okay. Because in the end, this is coming out exactly as I fucking wanted. And that's very rare with my technique, because usually it does whatever the fuck it wants. And I really, up until very recently, haven't known how the fuck to do this. Or to make something come out the way I want it to, you know? But I've never attempted something like this. I need, that one's green. So we're gonna pull in some green in here. Pop in a little more green in here, a little more down here, a little more here. I'm gonna pull in a little into this pink. And it's all gonna flow into this and pop all that. So now I'm gonna gently hit this shit. No, I'm not. Where's that fucking purple? I don't like that purple from that brush at all. That is not gonna work. So I'm gonna add some more paint, wet it, and let it flow. There we go. That's better. That's better. A little bit of water always saves the day. So now I'm gonna make a little noise for a second, and then I'm gonna let this do what it does as it dries, because it's gonna change. A lot, not a lot, but it will change. It will mix, and it will do something different than I'm expecting. But that's okay. Like I said in my last video, that's what adds whimsy and fucking wonder to your project, because you really don't know what's gonna happen. Some of these molding of the colors is not really what I expected, but it's working just how I wanted. So let's pop these rapids. I'm going real slow because I just want to move them around a little and pull that white up without changing the lines of the river. But if I were to get real aggressive with this, I can really move that paint, see? Now over here, we're gonna pull that baby blue a little. See what I mean about putting colors underneath and pulling them to the surface? This is our nice little mellow, semi-perfect area that we could get stuck in, that we have to get over some weird obstacles that I accidentally put in there. So now we'll fix this white area, rapids up to the top. Sorry, I'm having issues with my blower here, which this is a small electronics heat shrink heat gun. It's quieter and it has better control, so I use it to manipulate my watery paints. Alright, so we open up into a better area as we age. We open up these rapids here that we get through. Hey, now let's fix this purple a little bit, but it's gonna dry and all of this is melding together just how I wanted. I've got to fix that purple there. I'm gonna add a little more purpley paint, but this is all doing exactly what I wanted it to, surprisingly. I'm fucking stoked as fuck. Now, what I'm gonna do when this bitch dries, and it'll be really fucking cool, it's another technique I've been working with, is I'm going to take, and if you put different colors of unicorn spit underneath a white, you can pop the colors through it. Now the white looks a little bit weird and almost opaque-y, not opaque-y, but see-through-y, but it looks really cool. So I'm gonna do, what was I gonna do? I think let go and flow. I'll think about it a little bit more, but let me pull this camera back and give you the version I've been looking at and working from. So that is my project. If we zoom in, you'll see how much manipulation we have in that color. And I've got my solid purples on each corner to balance it for maybe, you know, what comes next. Maybe as you flow through the river of life, you come on to a more otherworldly, but more controlled and decent place. But anyways, that's another part. We've got our bay, our murky area, our rapids, our river, our flow into the openness of enlightenment and peace. We've got the world flowing around us in beauty and color, diversity, everything you can imagine in life. This picture instills it. Anyways, y'all have a good day. This is John at Release the Grain. Thank you so much for being here through this video. I hope you like it, and I'll keep posting if y'all keep watching. You know what? I'll keep posting even if you don't keep watching. All right, adios.